Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here. It's Wednesday the 25th of January. And thanks for so many of you for visiting the site. As always, kept free of charge by the adverts you see around the site. So if you see something you like, click on it, go through to it. It generates revenue for us and it generates interest for the sponsor by showing them that you're interested in the site. Of course, don't just click on the adverts because they're there. Go through because you actually want to go and see them. But that all helps and keeps the site free of charge. Okay. There are times, you know, when there's a forecast, you kind of have to throw your hands in the air and say, all right, fair enough, game's up, and I really don't know which way this is going to be turning. There are times when the weather just goes into an unforecastable mode. Now, I know for many of you snow and cold weather lovers out there, that's not good news, and you've certainly been showing your frustration. But there are times when you've got to just sit back and enjoy the way the weather works, and you know that's what happens. It's nature. We can try our best at predicting it, we can have a stab at forecasting it, but there are times when it just isn't going to play the games, and the numerical models that we have just aren't up to the job, and kind of we're getting into that scenario just at the moment. I want to show you the GFS. This is from the 6 o'clock run this morning, and the times are up here, top left hand corner. Look, we'll go through some detail for the next few days. So this is tonight, this evening, becomes quite breezy across Scotland. Got that area of rain that comes down through western parts of Scotland and into Wales and southwest England. Look, during the course of the night, it sweeps its way eastwards overnight and into the early part tomorrow morning, probably clearing away from eastern coast tomorrow morning. And then we have this little trough that comes into western Scotland, northwest England, Wales, southwest England. Now there is some colder air coming in behind this cold front, and so I do think that some of the showers within this sort of zone could well turn wintry during the course of tomorrow. Heavier showers following into western Scotland, but I think for central and eastern areas we should find it dry, at least until the afternoon when that trough goes through. So I think for parts of Scotland, northwest England, parts of Wales, certainly the high ground, looking at some fresh snowfall tomorrow, but I think across many central and east areas it's just a cold and bright day. Then we get a second hit come through as this other little area of low pressure comes into western Scotland, Ireland, northwest England, west of Wales during tomorrow evening, and that brings a further risk of showers, some of them wintry at times. That whole area then sweeps east overnight, takes some snow showers with it. Again, Scotland and northwest England most prone to those, particularly over the hills. Elsewhere, I think probably dry overnight into Friday with some clearer skies, but still I wouldn't rule out the risk of an odd wintry shower. Into Friday itself, a ridge of high pressure builds in. Most places are going to be dry, bright and cold through Friday. And then overnight into Saturday, a front moves into Scotland, bringing some outbreaks of rain here. You notice how the flow's coming back up from the southwest, so milder conditions spreading their way eastwards during Saturday for most of us. Although probably quite a wet day across Scotland and northern England, but down to the south looks to be generally fair with some sunny spells. On to Sunday now. This is where things start to get a little bit more confused because we've got this front that drifts its way eastwards. Now, in earlier runs of the model, this front has been back further east, and this front that lies down here basically marks the delineation zone between the cold air to the east and the milder air to the west. And notice how on the GFS for 6 o'clock it actually brings that milder air in across the country and keeps us out of the cold air. This takes us into the middle part of next week, look, and we've got low pressure there into Iceland by then. North of the country on the cold side of the low of the jet stream, which will be blowing through here, the southern area, the southern parts of the country on the milder side. Now I have to say that from here on in, from let's get back to it, from there, from about this point, Saturday midday, I think we have to say that the jury's out. Anything could happen here. See, that front may not get far enough east. It may come up against the block here, and that block may well develop more of an easterly, which would blow that whole area further back west. So I think we've got to say after Saturday we really are into unknown territory. We've got two scenarios. One is cold, one is mild, and really trying to pick out which one is likely to win through is a really dangerous game. But it's always handy just to have a look and see how the 7 to 10 day means treat it. This is from the midnight run last night, taking us through from next Wednesday through to Saturday. ECMWF on the left, we've got the GFS on the right, and this is the mean of the 500 millibar flow. And you notice how for both, really, it's bringing us a westerly flow in across the country, keeping the jet stream out in the Atlantic, look, but keeping a lighter flow through the British Isles with a trough over here through central parts of Europe on both models. That would be a milder westerly flow with higher pressure here across northern Siberia. Now what is interesting is that at this stage these models actually agree. So by the back end of next week we're actually going into more agreement than at the beginning of the week, and again that's fairly unusual, not unheard of, but fairly unusual. So I think what we've got to do today is probably say, okay, let's sit back, let's wait and see what further runs of the models bring, and let's see which way they're going to tip on this. There is going to be a separation zone between cold air to the east, mild air to the west, somewhere from western Wales to the middle of the North Sea. It's within that zone, and it depends exactly where that zone is as to whether we go into colder air or whether we go into milder conditions next week. I have to say, for the time being, I'm still sticking with my February forecast of 0 to 2 degrees below normal for the first 10 days of the month across most of the country. We'll see what happens, but for now, do keep the sun shining. Sorry I can't be more definite on things than that for you, but I think we've just got to wonder at the weather in this situation. Thanks for watching.